Right, hello guys, and welcome to today's video. And today I am very excited to bring you the best Black Ops 7 nuked out method. Yes, I'm going to be going over my entire nuked out method because I have just earned my first nuclear here in Black Ops 7. And it was in free-for-all, so I've been doing this challenge for a few days now. It took me less time than it did in Black Ops 6, funny enough. But I have done it. We received the nuke killer, of course, for doing this in free-for-all, but at the same time, we have earned the nuked out calling card. And I'm going to be honest, the nuclear killer calling card is actually cooler than this, but we're going to flex it anyway, because this is a really hard challenge, not easy to do, and I imagine many of you are trying to complete this right now. So I have a method of everything, that is. I'm not only going to share the class setup, kind of what the reason behind my class setup is, and how I've set it up, and exactly what to do with the class, but I'm also going to talk about how to potentially get easier lobbies in Black Ops 7. It's not as easy as it used to be, I'm going to be honest with you, but you do kind of need an easy lobby to do this. You aren't going to get this against people with 1.5 KDs and above. It is not an easy challenge. But as you can see, you have to earn a nuke in free-for-all without using score streaks. I had this confusion last year in Black Ops 6, saying people were saying to me you could use a UAV in that. You cannot use the UAV. No UAV, no count UAV, harp. You can't call any of these things in. You cannot use them. You have to do it bare bones with your class setup. That's it, straight to the point. So let's get into it. I'm going to share with you the class setup that I actually use, which is going to come as a surprise because it's not really as complete as it should be. So this is the class that I was using, and yes, there are only 2 attachments. I am not saying to use only 2 attachments. I just happened to have prestiged the weapon, still tried to do the challenge, and ended up with this as my class. So this is my class currently, right? I've prestiged the weapon. I've literally got an optic on it and a laser. To be honest, I'm going to say it now. The weapon doesn't matter so much as long as it's a weapon that you can use with just 5 attachments. Find the most comfortable, the best weapon that you think in your hands that you are best with only 5 attachments, because you are going to need 4 perks for this setup, okay? I can't stress enough, you need 4 perks for this, but find a weapon that allows you to use 5 attachments to be comfortable with. I would recommend the Dravec 45. It's a great SMG that also kind of hybrids as an assault rifle, very powerful. Probably going to get a nerf, I think, potentially, who knows. Obviously, there's the gun that's like attack. I believe that's quite decent as well. There are many options here, but the Dravec is what I went with, and I would actually customize this with a lot more things than what I had on here, but this is the only 2 attachments that I had on it when I was in the gameplay, so for transparency, this is all I had on the gun, but I'm not saying to only use this with 2 attachments and it's going to be godlike. It can definitely be better, okay, but that's what I had on the class. Again, pistol doesn't matter too much. You know, this is, again, something whatever you're comfortable with, whatever you think is the best secondary for you. I wouldn't recommend using a launcher or anything. I'd definitely recommend having a pistol spare just to be able to, you know, win a gunfight if you need to. Melee, of course, you just leave your knife. Field upgrade. Even though we've got scavenger, and I'll talk about why we've got scavenger, I am still going with the field upgrade of the assault pack, and you want to put the high efficiency battery on it, which is the faster charge time, just so you are not running out of ammo. If you run out of ammo, obviously game's over. You're probably not going to get the nuke. Tactical, have a stim shot on, and then I'd have it with cleanse. I know I haven't even locked the add movement speed, but I'd still probably use cleanse anyway, just because obviously people are going to concussion you, stun you, you name it. It's all the sort of wild things that can happen. And then this here, if you guys know in Black Ops 6 what we did, we found another thing that is very, very useful and saved my bacon in this gameplay. You want to use the point turret and make sure you get the rapid fire mod in it, increase turret's rate of fire. You're going to see in the gameplay exactly why this is very, very useful. You definitely want to be using this lethal. So we have tac sprint on perk 1. I'm going to be honest, if I had lightweight unlocked, I would be using lightweight, but currently I had tac sprint. So tac sprint or lightweight is definitely the way to go. And I know some people would think, well, what about ghost, ninja? No, the reason we want to be doing this is because we want this speciality here. We need this speciality. So we've got scavenger in the second part. Again, you could probably go with assassin if you want to, but the reason I've got scavenger is because for every scavenge you get another point turret, and you can have 2 of these up at the same time. No more, and well, you can obviously have less, but you can't have more than 2. But to get a second one, you need to have scavenger, unless you use something else, which I believe gives you 2 lethals from start, but it'll mess up the class up. So you want to have perk greed on, obviously, as you can see down here as well. But scavenger to get yourself them second point turrets. And again, you're going to see in the gameplay why it's important to have 2 of these on the map at the same time. And then finally, perk 3, definitely go with dexterity. You don't need bankroll looper, because again, we're not using score streaks, and then having the 3 together instantly gets you enforcer. Perk greed, you can kind of use anything you want. For some reason, mine seems to have defaulted to vigilance, which is fine anyway. Vigilance is perfectly fine. It doesn't really change anything too much, but you can run the tac mask, etc. Oh, hold on, it's so yeah, you can run kind of any perk in the full slot, really, whatever you think is going to work best for you. As long as you get the 3 main, I'd say, though, you'd want maybe flak to avoid the nades, maybe tac mask. Vigilance, again, is good for mini-maps, you know, so you don't get scrambled up, counter UAVs and scramblers, because obviously we can't call in UAVs anyway, and seeing, you know, where people are shooting on the map is very important stuff. You could also use cold-blooded, because I imagine after this video's went out, a lot of people are going to start using those point turrets. So if you are one of those people who wants to avoid other people using those point turrets, use cold-blooded. It makes you, you know, unable to be seen by all these different things. Again, you could even have Ghost if you don't want to ping up on UAVs, but there's kind of, you can kind of put whatever you want in your perk greed. I just went with Vigilance for the increased minimap area so I can see everything going on at the one time. But that was the setup, and what I'm going to show you next is the gameplay and kind of talk you through exactly what I was doing in the gameplay, what I was doing exactly, and also I'm going to explain how I got the lobby I did. And also, you want to stick around for the end of the video because there was something that was mad, okay? It was absolutely insane. I wasn't the only one in this lobby trying to get a nuke. So let's cut to the gameplay and talk about this blessed Black Ops 7 nuked out method. Right, and hello people, and welcome back to the gameplay section of today's video where we do get the nuked out and free-for-all. Now, as you can see, I did die from spawn there, but the way it works is once you've got the first kill, that's when the streak starts. So you can die like once, twice, 3 times, doesn't matter how many times, until you get your first kill and free-for-all. So that's what I'm going to let you guys know. You can actually die technically doing this, just not when you're on the streak. So right now, if I get a kill, like I said, like here, now I can't die. So you are allowed to get like 2, 3, 4, however many deaths before you get your first kill. But as you can see in the background, what we are doing, we are playing on Hijacked. You're going to want to find a map that is good for you. You're going to want to find a map where you can lock down spawns and sort of look over maybe 2, 3, 4 sort of points at one given time. And as you can see with the point turrets, once we get some scavengers, so we've got one up already and we've put it behind us. Now, obviously, it doesn't guarantee my safety. Luckily in this lobby, which was a pretty easy lobby, bar one player who was very, very good, which you'll see in the kill feed there, TB, and he's going to be a part of something very insane that we're going to see at the back. So as you can see, we get a scavenger pack and we put down a point turret. We also put one down at the ladder at some point in this gameplay as well. But you want to be getting 2 point turrets at the same time. Luckily, that came in hand as well. I did pick up a spare weapon, which I would recommend as well. If you do get a chance to pick up a spare weapon instead of using your pistol, definitely do so. It will help out, of course, if you do run out of ammo, etc. And like I said, we've got the assault pack, so then we can get more ammo. We're basically trying to guarantee none of, you know, get rid of the randomness that can happen, such as running out of ammo, etc. As you can see as well, because these players aren't so great, they're having to deal with the point turret, they're kind of getting tagged, picked up. It's alerting me to people running behind me in often moments that I wouldn't be able to, you know. So maybe you could run Ninja. I know some people will sit there and think, well, maybe I can run Ninja and hear the people who, you know, aren't running Ninja, etc., or haven't got really loud footsteps. I wouldn't say that's very reliable in this game, though. I'd definitely go with the point turret method. As you can see, it is just picking up people for me. It is letting me know. I'm also locking down this spawn here, and I'm just going, basically, I'm just trying to spawn trap as best as I can. Have the point turrets, you know, look out for me and make sure that people don't, you know, come behind me and take me out whilst I'm on my streak. And that's pretty much the game plan here, is to lock down some spawns. So I would recommend Hijacked. Hijacked is a very, very good map for this. There are other good ones as well. I think Nuketown's a bit too chaotic. Like, I've tried Nuketown. It's very, very like fast-paced. You're going to get caught out, to be honest. Hijacked is just about safe enough where it's, you know, you can sort of go about it methodically and deal with what you need to deal with. The only thing I had to deal with in this gameplay that sucked a little bit was I had to rush it, which luckily played in my favor. I managed to just, and I'm like I'm saying, guys, you want to stick around for the end of this gameplay because I'm going to show you the theater mode footage of myself and the other guy that I'm kind of going up against here, TB. They're basically, everyone in this lobby is a bot, by the way, and I'm going to talk about how I got this lobby as well. I do think there's a slight method to trying to get an easier lobby, but it's not even that great, though. I'm going to be honest. I still found many hard lobbies, but this is the best way I found anyway. But as you can see, TB is going ham in the feed, and he actually does get the nuke in this gameplay as well. There's actually 2 of us who get the nuke out here in free-for-all. I do not know this person, by the way, if anyone wants to sit there and try and claim that me and this guy are going ham, because he's basically on the other side of the map doing the exact same thing as me. Not with the point turrets and other, but he's locking down spawns, etc. And again, I'll show you that in theater mode. But in case anyone thinks this is not legit, by the way, I do not know this TB guy. It just happens to be another sweaty player who was doing the same thing as me, trying to get a nuke down free-for-all. And luckily, I beat him by an absolute millisecond, but I will share that with you in theater mode. Very crazy. I can see he's on 18, I'm on 17. It's absolutely crazy. But you can't call in your score streaks, obviously, but I've also said, will say, you can't actually delete your score streaks. You can't actually take them off unless you possibly use specialist, but then you are limiting, you know, not having 4 perks maybe. But I don't know, you could probably go with specialist if you really want to. If you're confident going with specialist, you can use the specialist package. I just didn't have it available to me to even try it, but I did have this method kind of sorted anyway. I was okay with the 4 perks. 2-point turrets, salt pack, stim, you name it. Those are the things that I think are perfectly fine and capable of getting this nuked out here in free-for-all. But how did I get this lobby? Of course, people are going to ask, how did you get this lobby? What did you do exactly? I'm going to be honest, there's nothing too crazy you can do this year. I have tried different methods of like search preferences to see if you get easier lobbies. Obviously, you can only search for free-for-all. This year, there's supposed to be less minimal skill-based matchmaking. And I have come up with some things that I found in my own like messing around with the matchmaking. So I have changed my matchmaking to console only. Yes, I am on Xbox. If you're on PC, this isn't obviously going to benefit you. Unfortunately, I don't really have a method for you guys to get somewhat easier lobbies. I am also playing this game at 3 or 4 in the morning. I'm not going to lie to you. This was a crazy time to play it because it will, of course, limit the skill-based matchmaking. It will make it less likely for you to find sweaty players. There will still be some about. You do kind of have to get a bit lucky with the lobby, right? Like, obviously, most people here aren't very good, don't really know what they're doing, kind of some are standing still, some are, you know, don't really know how to shoot. There is a lot of luck involved in this. And even then, look, as you can see, I'm already 3 behind. Like, I'm not, you know, I might mess this up here. So I had to run around and kind of abandon my method, just because there was another player who was doing this, who was of equal skill, probably even better than me, if I'm completely honest, at the game. So I had to run around, and luckily my rushing method did somewhat pay off, and I went absolutely crazy to get this nuked out. But to get this nuked out, again, I had cross-platform off, well, not platform off, I had console only as my search preference, and I played at 3 or 4 in the morning. This is the best method I found to get in an easier lobby. Again, it's not guaranteed. There isn't as good of a method. Whatever they did with the matchmaking this year, it is a lot harder to find easier lobbies. I said last year about how you could guarantee them pretty much. This year, it's not as easy. The best method I found is putting cross-platform, no, console-only cross-platform on. Can't play with PC players, just Xbox and PlayStation. And then, you know, you go ham with this method and go crazy. But as you can see, we just about got it. But what I'm going to do now is cut to the theater mode clip of what happened and show you how intense this nuked out truly was. Okay, so here it is, guys. Bear with us, because this theater mode footage is very buggy. Theater mode is not exactly fantastic in this game, but I'm going to show you the perspective of both myself and the guy called TB, who was in this lobby going for the nuke turn. Now, as you can see, he's also using the Dravak 45, which I do think is the best weapon personally. As you can see, it's a little bit glitchy. I'm trying to like skip around to try and get to the point, but here we are. So this is where I earned the nuke. But now I'm going to show you the perspective of how close this truly was. Like, genuinely, I think the theater mode messes up because it does show like him getting the nuke before me. At least it looks like it, but he doesn't seem to call it in before I do, because I'm going to show you that he scrambles to call his in. But I managed to beat him, and it must have been milliseconds. I mean milliseconds. So as you can see, it's showing that he's already got it, but he tries to call his in. But if I switch to myself, I don't know, it kind of shows me not having it, but I did call it in before him, because as you can see, this is me calling it in. But when he goes to call in his nuke, it doesn't allow him to. It will sit here and say MGB already inbound. This is how mental this game was. I was fighting with this dude. He was basically controlling spawns on the other side of the map. I was controlling spawns opposite to him. And I beat him by milliseconds. I mean milliseconds to get this nuke. He does still earn the nuked out calling, by the way. Nobody actually loses out. The only thing is I get the satisfaction of calling in the glorious nuke. So it technically feels like obviously I won the battle, but he lost out. I beat him by a mere millisecond to calling in the nuke. And as you can see, we got the brilliant nuked out in free-for-all. One of the hardest challenges, if not the hardest challenge you are going to find in Black Ops 7, especially with how hard it is to actually even get easier lobbies. But I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Any questions about the method and that you need to know down below, let me know. I will happily answer them as best as possible. But I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, leave a comment, leave a like, subscribe, notifications on. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Goodbye.